Hello everyone, I hope you all are doing fine. My name is Moinak and this is the first part of a four-part series of WBPSC Assistant Engineer Civil 2014 paper. I have tried my best to explain the solution in details and also the connected questions that might be asked from a particular section is also discussed in this video. If you're new to this channel and if you like the content of the video, do subscribe and share this video with your friends who are preparing for similar government engineering exams for civil engineering. So without wasting any more time, let's get on with the questions. The first question is if the length of transition curve, if L is the length of transition curve and R is the radius of circular curve, then the shift to the curve is directly proportional to. Now the shift is directly proportional to the L square or the length of transition curve square and inversely proportional to the radius of circular curve. Now let's look into details what is the shift of a curve. Now shift of a curve is when a transition curve is introduced between a straight and circular curve, then the circular curve has to be shifted so that the transition curve meets the circular one tangentially. So this is the starting point of the circular curve. This should have started here after the straight portion, but because of the introduction of this transition curve, this circular curve has been shifted from here to here. So this is known as the shift of a curve. This is known as the shift of a curve, and the shift of a curve is given by LT square by 24R. Well, LT is the length of transition curve and R is the radius of circular curve. So it is obviously proportional to the length of transition curve square and inversely proportional to the radius of curve. So the answer should be B. The next question is sewage treatment in an oxidation pond is. Now sewage treatment in an oxidation pond is algal bacteria symbiosis. Is algal bacteria symbiosis. Also, oxidation pond is an earthen basin which is designed to treat biological waste of industry or from small localities. Also, stabilization of waste is carried out by natural means, hence the detention time is more. And this is very important. Detention time of oxidation ponds or stabilization ponds is 15 to 13 days. This is very important. Now the next question is the main function of alumina in brick earth is. Now the main function of alumina is to impart plasticity. Also, let's look into the other uh, ingredients of brick earth. What are the main functions of the ingredients? Now alumina, as you already know, it imparts plasticity, and if this is in excess, it causes shrinkage and warping. For silica, silica prevents shrinkage as well. It prevents cracking and warping of bricks. If this is in excess, the brick become brittle. The bricks become brittle. For lime, it prevents shrinkage to a certain degree. Also, if it is in excess, it causes the brick to melt. Hence, results in their lost shape. Next is oxides of iron. Now, oxides of iron helps in the fusion of lime and silica. Also, gives the reddish brown color to the brick. And magnesium oxide, it imparts yellowish tinge and prevents the shrinkage to a certain degree. If in excess, it leads to the decay of bricks. So you know what are the important functions of all the important ingredients of brick earth, and the main function of alumina and brick earth is to impart plasticity. Next question is two sound sources are emitting sound simultaneously with sound levels of 60 decibels and 70 decibels respectively. What will be the resultant sound level? Now you know what the formula for equivalent noise level is. It is given by 10 log 10 to the power L1 by 10 plus 10 to the power L2 by 10. Here L1 is given by 60 and L2 is given by 70. If you calculate, the answer would come out to be 70.4 decibels. If you calculate, the answer would come out to be 70.4 decibels, which is A. Also, if you don't have such opportunities or use of a calculator, if you can't use the calculator, you can use this chart. You can use this chart to save time as well. This is an approximate chart where if the difference between L1 and L2 is 0 or 1, then you should add 3 to the higher value. If the difference is 2 or 3, you should add 2 to the higher value. If the difference is 4 to 8, you should add 1. And if the difference is greater than equal to 9, you should not be adding anything. So in this particular case, the two noise levels were 60 decibels and 70 decibels. So the difference was more than 9. So you should not be adding anything to the higher value. So the answer should be near 70 decibels. And if you see the options here, all the options are far away from each other. So the nearest option should have been 70.4 and you need not use this formula. But in some cases, the answers, if it was closer, if it was 70.6, if the third option would have been 70.8, then you should be using this formula to get the exact answer. But in most cases in WBPSC assistant engineer, the options would be such that you don't need to use this particular formula. You just see the chart and tick the options. Next question is the porosity and specific gravity of soil of a sand lying below a machinery dam is 40% and 2.67 respectively. The maximum permissible upward gradient with a factor of safety 4 is. Now you know critical gradient is given by g minus 1 into 1 minus m. Just put in the values of 2.67 and 0.4 here. So the answer or the critical gradient would be come out to be as 1. Now the maximum permissible upward gradient is given by the critical gradient divided by the factor of safety. So the answer should be 1 by 4 or 0.25. The answer for this particular question should be A, 0.25. Next question is eutrophication in water bodies are caused due to the presence of high level of. The answer should be nitrogen and phosphorus. Nitrogen and phosphorus. Now eutrophication refers to the uncontrolled growth of algae, and algae can be removed by addition of lime. Also, phosphorus is the prime lake pollutant. Phosphorus is a prime lake pollutant which results into eutrophication. Next question is compressive strength of any structural concrete sample should not be less than specified characteristic compressive strength minus. The answer should be 3 MPa minus 3 MPa. The compressive strength of no individual sample should be below FCK minus 3. Should be below FCK minus 3. Next question is if the focal length of the object glass is 25 centimeter and the distance from object glass to the transition axis is 15 centimeter, the additive constant is. So the D here is 15 centimeter and the F is 25 centimeter. So you know the additive constant is given by F plus D. The additive constant is given by F plus D, which is nothing but 0.25 plus 0.15. Should come out to be 0.4 meters. So the answer should be B, 0.4 meters. Also the distance is given by Ks plus C, where K is the multiplying constant, S is the staff intercept and C is the additive constant. Next question is VB time for low workability. As per IS standard, it is given by. For low workability, the VB time is 5 to 10 seconds. For low workability, the VB time is 5 to 10 seconds. Also, you can take a screenshot of this particular chart. This gives a very important details about the slump value, the compacting factor value, as well as the VB time in seconds for different degrees of workability. In very low cases, the slump value is not there. You cannot find the slump value for very low as well as very high cases. Also, for the VB time for high and very high cases cannot be found out because the process is so quick that you cannot calculate the time here. Also, you can keep this chart in your phone. You just take a screenshot of this particular chart and keep it in your phone and see and remember these values. Any of the following values from here can be asked in the exams. So the answer for this particular question is D, 5 to 10 seconds. That is workability, VB time for low workability. The next question is maximum area of compression reinforcement in doubly reinforced beam of width D and depth D is given by. The answer is 0.04 BD or 4% of the gross area or 4% of the gross area. Also for tension reinforcement, the minimum AST. The minimum AST is given by the minimum AST should be greater than 0.85 BD by FY. And the maximum AST, the maximum amount of steel is 4% of the gross area or 0.04 BD. For compression reinforcement, the ASC maximum, sorry, the ASC minimum, it does not have any value, but at least two bars must be provided in compression zone to provide ductility to hold the stirrups. And also the ASC maximum, the AC maximum is given by 4% of the gross area or 0.04 BD. So the answer is 0.04 BD for this particular question. Coefficient of discharge. Next question. Coefficient of discharge in a nozzle is. The answer is actual discharge by theoretical discharge. Coefficient of discharge is given by actual discharge by theoretical discharge. Also, value of coefficient of discharge is always less than 1. Is always less than 1. Remember, because actual discharge can never be greater than theoretical discharge because there would be a certain amount of losses. Next question is the rheatic line in an earthen dam may be. The answer is B. Now this particular question has been asked in all the 3 years 2012, 2014 as well as 2016. So you can expect this question again in the coming years. Now rheatic line is also the top flow line. The top flow line is known as the rheatic line and orthogonal to the flow lines is known as the equipotential lines. Now the top flow line is called the rheatic line, you know that. Now pressure above the rheatic line is atmospheric, the pressure below the rheatic line is hydrostatic. Also it is parabolic in shape. So these are the important points in cases of rheatic lines. Next question is, in quadrilateral bearing system, a whole circle bearing of 294 degree 30 minutes can be expressed as. Now this is the whole circle bearing 294 degree 30 minutes. We just need to find the quadrantal bearing of this particular thing. So it is between the north west section. We just need to find the angle between it. So the angle between this should be 360 minus this particular angle, which is already given. The answer, 360 degree minus 294 degrees 30 minutes. The answer should come out to be 65 degrees 30 minutes. The answer should be north 65 degree 30 minutes. So the answer should be B, north 65 degree 30 minutes. Next question, in a liquid limit test, the moisture content at 10 blows was 70% and that at 100 blows was 20%. Then the liquid limit of soil is. Now you need to plot a chart, or you just need to remember the formulas. Now the flow curve is a graph where in y-axis it is given by water content and the x-axis is given by the number of flows, which is in logarithmic scale. So the slope of this curve is given by flow index, which is nothing but the slope, which is W1 minus W2 by log of N2 minus N1, which is given by 70 in this particular case minus 20 by log of 100 by 10. This should be 10. So you would find out that the flow index comes out to be 50 in this particular case. The flow index would come out to be 50. And what is actually the liquid limit? The water content at 25 blows, is known as the liquid limit. So you just need to find this particular value. So you know the flow index, which is the slope of the graph. You just need to replace the values. Here W1 is replaced by 70 and W2 is represented by WL, and N2 is represented by 25 and N1 is represented by 10. So you just need to replace the values and you would find out that the water content is 50%, or the liquid limit is 50% at 25 number of flows. Also it is find out the experiment that is done is known as Casagrande method to find out the liquid limit of soil. The experiment that is used is known as the Casagrande method. Next question is, number of bricks required for 1 cubic meter of brickwork is. Now you already know the dimension of brick, which is 19 or 190 millimeter into 90 millimeter into 90 millimeter. Now dimension of brick with mortar is 200 millimeter into 100 millimeter into 100 millimeter. So the number of bricks in 1 cubic meter of brickwork is the total volume in meter cube and the volume of one brick. So it is given by 1 meter cube by 0.2 into 0.1 into 0.1 meter cube. So if you calculate, the answer would come out to be 500 bricks. So the answer should be C 500. The answer should be C 500. Next question. If the time required for 50% consolidation of a remolded sample of clay with single drainage is 1 minute, then the time required to consolidate same sample of clay with same degree of consolidation with double drainage. So the time factor is given by CVT by D square, right? CVT by D square, where CV is the coefficient of consolidation, P is the time elapsed for drainage, and D is the length of drainage path. All other factors remaining same. T is proportional to the length of drainage path square. T is proportional to the length of drainage path square. So T1 by T2 is given by D1 by D2 whole square, right? So in this particular case, for single drainage, one layer here is impermeable. Let it be a rock stratum. So the pore water cannot escape through this particular area or layer. So the pore water, the only way to escape is from this particular area. So the length of drainage path is here is H. So the length of drainage path is H. In case of double drainage or two-way drainage, both the layers, if this is clay, both the layers are permeable. So the water can escape through both the layers and the drainage path becomes half that of single drainage. So H by 2, it comes out to be H by 2. So you just need to replace the values. For single drainage, the time required was 1 minute and the length of drainage path was H. For double drainage, you need to find out the time and the length of drainage path was H by 2. Just need to replace the values and you find out the answer should be 1 by 4. The answer should be 1 by 4 minutes. So the answer should be A. The answer should be A. The next question is, mechanical stabilization of soil is done with the help of. The answer is proper grading. Mechanical stabilization is done by proper grading. Also, stabilization is nothing but improving or modifying the properties of soil to improve its engineering performance. To improve its engineering performance. Also, there are various types of stabilization that you can do. One is mechanical stabilization that you can do by proper grading as well as soil compaction. You can do cement stabilization, there is lime stabilization, there is bitumen stabilization, there is chemical stabilization which you can do by adding calcium chloride as well as sodium chloride. Also, stabilization can be done by heating and electrically also. Next question is, the minimum center to center distance between the piles of a pile group in clay should be equal to. The answer is 3 times diameter. This is also a repeated question, should be 3 times diameter. So the minimum center to center distance should be 3 times the diameter of pile. Next question is, Chessy's formula for discharge through an open channel is Q equal to AC root MI, where M is, now M is denoted as by hydraulic mean depth. Hydraulic mean depth. This is the Chessy's formula, and M is also the cross-sectional area by the wetted perimeter. The cross-sectional area by the wetted perimeter. The next question, a triangular direct runoff hydrograph. A triangular direct runoff hydrograph due to a storm has time base of 40 hours and peak flow of 20 meter cube occurring at 20 hours from the start. If the catchment area is 14.4 square kilometers, the rainfall excess depth of the storm is. Now, in order to calculate, you need to know this formula. The area of a hydrograph is equal to the volume of catchment, which is equal to the area of catchment times the rainfall excess depth, right? So you just need to plot this graph of a hydrograph. It is triangular in shape. You know the base time is 40 hours and the peak is at 20 hours. The peak is at 20 hours. So this distance is 20. So this is an isosceles triangle. You just need to find the area of this. The area of this is given by half times 40 is the base here. 40 is given in hours. We just need to convert it into seconds. So you multiply it by 3600 times 20 is the discharge here or the height of the triangle, which is 20 meter cube per second. It is equal to the area of catchment, which is 14.4 square kilometers. You need to convert this into meter square. So you are multiplying by 10 to the power 6 times the rainfall excess depth. We have taken it as x. So if you calculate, the answer would come out to be 1 by 10 meters. 1 by 10 meters or 10 centimeters. So the rainfall excess depth here is 10 centimeters. The answer is B, 10 centimeters. Next question. The probability of a 10 centimeter rain in 1 hour occurring at a station B is found to be 1 by 60. What is the probability that a 1 hour rain of magnitude 10 centimeter or larger will occur in station once in 30 successive years? Now the probability of occurrence here is given by 1 by 60. It's already given in the question. So the probability of non-occurrence is given by 1 minus the probability of occurrence, which is 1 minus 1 by 60 or 59 by 60. Now probability of an event occurring once as given in the question in n successive years is given by P1n, n is the number of years, is equal to nc1 into P, that is probability of occurrence to the power 1, into Q, that is probability of non-occurrence to the power n minus 1, where n is the number of years. So the probability of occurrence of this particular event once in 30 successive years is 30c1 times 1 by 60 to the power 1 into 59 by 60 to the power 30 minus 1. So if you calculate, the answer should come out to be as 0.307. The answer should be B for this particular question. But remember, if the question asks you what is the probability of an event occurring at least once, that is the risk. What is the risk? Then that is greater than equal to 1. The probability of event occurring at least one, the risk is given by 1 minus q to the power n. And here, if you calculate 1 minus 59 by 60 to the power 30, this value would come out to be as 0.396, which is also a given option here. So a lot of people would be confused between the risk and this particular question. So this question is a very good question. You should remember, if the question gives you once in 30 years, then you should follow this particular trick. And if it tells you at least once, that is more than equal to 1 times, then you should follow this particular formula of risk. This is a very good question. Next question is the flow is laminar if Reynolds number is, the flow is laminar if the Reynolds number is less than 2000. For laminar it is less than 2000, for turbulent it is more than 4000, and for transition it is between 2000 to 4000 where the flow can be laminar or turbulent, right? Next question is orifice meter is used to measure. Orifice meter is used to measure the discharge in a pipe. The discharge in a pipe. Also, the other discharge measuring devices are venturimeter, where the coefficient of discharge is high from 0.96 to 0.98. For orifice meter, the coefficient of discharge is from 0.62 to 0.67. For flow nozzle, the coefficient of discharge is from 0.74 to 0.78. The next question is if the RL of a benchmark is 100 meters, the back side is 1.215 meters and the foresight is 1.87 meters. The RL of the forward station is. Now, if you follow this diagram, this is the instrument. This is the height of instrument here. Now, the RL of benchmark is already given as 100 meters and the backside reading is 1.215 meters. So, the height of instrument, the height of this particular instrument is given by RL of benchmark plus the backside reading. This would give you the height of instrument. So, the height of instrument is 100 plus 1.215 meters. So, the height of instrument should come out to be as 101.215 meters, right? So this is the height of instrument. Now you want to find the RL of the forward station. You need to find out the RL of the forward station. So that is given by the height of instrument minus the foresight reading. So the height of instrument is 101.215. You need to subtract the foresight reading, but which is 1.870 meters. The answer should come out to be as 99.345 meters. The answer should come out to be as 99.345 meters. The answer for this particular question should be A. Next question is early attainment of strength in rapid hardening cement is mainly due to. Now for early attainment of strength, the rapid hardening cement is mainly due to the tricalcium silicate. You need to increase the percentage of tricalcium silicate in this particular type of cement. Now for rapid hardening cement, higher percentage of tricalcium silicate, that is approximately 56%, is used and lower percentage of calcium disilicate. This type of cement attains strength at the age of 3 days equivalent to the strength of OPC, ordinary Portland cement, at 7 days. Also, this is used in construction in rigid pavement, emergency repair works, and where formwork is required to be removed early. The answer for this particular question should be early attainment of strength in rapid hardening cement is mainly due to the higher percentage of tricalcium silicate. So these were the first 25 questions of the 2014 assistant engineer paper. This was the part 1 of a 4-part series, and I hope this is helpful for students who are preparing for this particular exam and other similar government exams as well for civil engineering. If you like the content of the video, do subscribe to the channel and share this with your friends. Stay safe everyone, study hard but study smart, and thank you.